So a friend of mine, a young colleague who is very interested in international special education, invited me to guest lecture. As a part of that, we presented the communication matrix. Found out that there was a communication matrix version that had been translated into Russian, was able to send that along, and then via Skype we were able to have this really rich, interactive discussion about the communication matrix as a resource for this particular school and for planning. And I think what's really exciting, they were very thrilled to hear about the online community of practice that was coming, and to think about the power of parents being able to connect across the world and to bring the best of what we know in special education to their children. It's a particularly wonderful time to be in special education and for people not to feel isolated or alone.
My name's Charity Rowland, and I'm a professor at the Institute on Development and Disability at Oregon Health and Science University, which is in Portland, Oregon. One of the things that became apparent very soon as I worked more and more with these children was that there was not a good assessment available that would capture the communication skills that were there. And so I started working on an assessment of my own to fill that gap that would do several things. I wanted it to tell us what children can do as opposed to all the many things they can't do. And I wanted it to point us to, given whatever means they're using to communicate, what are they able to do with it? What is its purpose? Because communication has a purpose, and you can have communicative behavior. So you could have somebody making a gesture or even saying a word or making something that looks like a manual sign, but if it's not produced with clear purpose and intent, then it's really not functioning as communication.
I think I was the first user of this tool in the state of Michigan. I waved my hands wildly and contacted our county and said, look at this tool, it makes a lot of sense. I'm actually looking at what this child can do and what they're already doing that's communicative.
Often in my experiences as a speech-language pathologist, I have the opportunity to work with young professionals and people that are just gaining an understanding of working with children with complex communication needs. And when I first introduced them to the idea of completing the communication matrix assessment, I find that all of a sudden a light bulb goes off and there's a moment of clarity around, this is what I'm supposed to look for.
Back to the families that I met with in Kyrgyzstan, I was able to show several different videos, and they said, this is what helps us so much, because they can look at a video, see progress, and have some strategies that they want to try. They could also share video on the online community of practice and have some practical solutions offered to them by an international community that cares very much about children who don't communicate in traditional ways.
The online community is a really revolutionary tool because it allows these people who work with low incidence populations or may have children who there's no one in their community who has a child who also has this disorder. It's a way for them to connect online and share everything.
It's a place where you can go and ask questions of very smart and experienced people who you would never otherwise meet. And I think that's one of the other values of the distance media that we're able to use these days in this field.
There may be a child who's deafblind who is the only deafblind child in a particular school system. And so when faced with that particular need set or challenge, teams can feel overwhelmed. They can feel like they don't have enough information. Parents especially can feel overwhelmed, like they're constantly having to educate others about the needs of their child and what makes them unique. So I feel like an online community of practice is a way to break down those barriers of isolation and connect people to people that share common experiences or have common challenges, and help them very practically solve problems.
I hope that the Communication Matrix community of practice is an opportunity to develop new voices in the field of augmentative communication. We all need to be sharing and learning, and I hope to be able to learn from you and share with you things in the now and in the distant future. So please join us.